stand before the king. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar, and unto Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. Those were their slave names. And Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Didn't want to eat the king's meat because it would defile him. Interesting concept. Now God had brought Daniel in favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall he make me in danger. Then shall you make me in danger. You look like you all malnutrition and look all anorexic. You're gonna put my head in danger. Like I like you, we're cool. You guys are all right with me. Y'all treat me nice, but I'm not putting my life on line for y'all. I ain't going like that. Father King don't play. You follow the king's orders. Then Daniel said to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Give us vegetables, some fruits, some salads, and some water. We don't want the wine. We don't want the meat. Give us the vegetables and the fruit and the water. And let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children of that eat of the portion of the king's meat. And as thou seest, deal with thy servant. So let's do this little thing for 10 days. Give us garden food for 10 days and some water. And then you give them what they're supposed to eat. Then after 10 days, look and see if we're doing all right. If we're doing all right, then, let's keep going. If we get worse, then we'll eat the king's meat. And at the end of 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat a portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the day, the kings had said he should bring them in. Then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king in all matter of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them. He found them 10 times better than the magicians and astrologers that were in his realm. And Daniel continued even until the first year of King Cyrus. Nice story. It's real cute. This is probably one of my favorite stories about in the book of Daniel. People go to Daniel in the lion's den, and they go to the fiery furnace, but this is kind of probably one of my favorites, only because of the fact that they really wasn't in, the danger wasn't with an outside force as it was with them and their choices and their decisions. And them having to make a stand to say, I don't want to do a thing. I don't want to go with what everybody else is doing. I don't want to be like everybody else. Everybody's eating the king's meat, so you got to understand the background. Judah got into rebellion as a people, as a nation. And it really wasn't all of the people, as it was the leadership, the kings of that time, got into rebellion with God and were serving idol gods, and God let them be conquered by Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. And one of the things that's important that we understand from this is that God kept giving them chances to repent and get it right, and they would not. So in the end, I feel sorry for Daniel and the Hebrew boys, because it's not their fault they're in this situation. I like that. It's not their fault. They were not the ones who decided to try to make a new allegiance with Egypt to come and conquer, come and attack Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar heard, say, you know what? I'm done with y'all. We're going to burn out all of Jerusalem. We're going to take them captive. Jeremiah was a prophet during this time of rebellion. So when you read the book of Jeremiah, it gives you a great depiction of what was going on and why the judgment came. The judgment didn't come because God said you're going to be judged, but he was saying that in response to their actions. You know, if you keep playing with that, like the socket with that fork, you're going to get a surprise. Mm-hmm. And God was telling them, quit playing with the socket, quit doing this. If you turn and do the right thing, I'm going to bless you. And they said, now we're going to do it. I'm going to do my thing. And the king thought he was bigger and bad than what the case was. And like, you keep doing this is what's going to happen. All of a sudden, the enemy attacked and took these children into captivity, which was during the time, the thing that they did. They would get the best and the brightest from the kingdom, bring them to the king's palace, and use their gifts and their talents to help their enemies in a sense. It is no different than, I had to remind students that when they got the slaves from the west part of Africa, they were not taking slaves into slavery. They were taking kings and engineers and queens and teachers and architects and designers and bakers and chefs and farmers, people who had skill, people who had intelligence, people who were not just smart, but they were educated, they were intellectual, they understood structure, they understood order. These people were part of kingdoms. These were not people just living in the bush and in the woods, just walking around with a little, show that show Africans as just sitting there with, with barely anything on and the chest all out, hanging and running and banging the head. And there were people of renown and they were educated. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just them that they took these people and made them slaves. It's a very different thing. It gives you to understand the concept that they didn't come over here as slaves. They came over here and was put into slavery. So same thing with Daniel, Hananiah, and Mishael, and Azariah. They were brought over, and because they had no blemishes, because they were well favored, because they were educated, because they were intelligent, intellectual, and they had the ability, watch this, to stand in the king's palace. There was something unique and special about them already to be chosen. And they were brought to the king's palace, and then for 3 years fed and educated in the ways of this kingdom that they were foreign to. Then the best ones would then, after that, would be serving alongside the king in his government. This is how kingdoms continued to spread. They had great technology. They had great insight. So then, what's wrong with us when we come to Christ that we forget everything that we've ever learned? Mm. Why is it that people go to work every week? If we go to work, and understand what I'm saying, we go to work every week and we do all this stuff, make choices, make decisions, make stuff happen, and then we get in church and act like we don't know nothing. Mm. We don't bring a talent, we don't bring an ability, we don't bring an insight, we don't have an idea, we got nothing. I got that one for free, I'm sorry. I just get a little aggravated with people who, not y'all, I'm kind of preaching for with folk that go to church, they do stuff all week, and they work, and they make all kind of things. They can plan vacations and do all the stuff, and then when they come to church, and then they fall asleep and act like they can't pay attention, and turn around, they act like they don't understand what just happened. But wait, when you get on your job and you don't understand what's going on, you go just do some research. So why is it that we get in church and act like, well, I don't understand what he meant by that. Then did you go get a book and did you go research? Mm. And then people come to see, because I'm my pastor, they go, man, I'm talking to you about something. Well, what about this? And I'm looking at them like, what do you mean, what about this? Did Jesus really walk on the water? Or was it just like us? Like, what really happened? Well, technically, he didn't really technically, he was walking on water. Oh, yeah, he walked on water. But what about Peter? Like, Peter really walked on the water? Well, technically, he wasn't walking per se on the water as much as he was being obedient to what God had told him to do. Jesus said, come, so he stepped out on the word, and the word was working for him. But the moment that he took his eyes off of Jesus and onto what was going on around him, he started to sink. And he didn't really sink, but here's the point. He's a fishermen. Fishermen know how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
So in his hand, watch this, he was in the water and it was contrary, but his ability to swim should have helped him know how to navigate the stormy water. Because you know how to swim. They kind of teach you that. So the point is, he got a situation where his eyes was on Jesus,